Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 9 of Friday Night Under the Lights. It just seems to go by in such a hurry, George, but it is week 9 and we don't have Russ yet. He will be coming because the Hartfield-Jackson prep game is not over with yet, and it is tied, so he's calling an exciting one there.
Yeah, at last report, about 2 minutes to go in the game, and it's tied 45-45. And you're trying to track that over there for us and kind of keep us up to date. But apparently Prep got out to an early lead. Hartfield rallied back and led by 2 touchdowns not that long ago. But Prep has rallied in the fourth quarter and tied the game at 45 with about 2 minutes to go. So we'll continue to watch that.
I can tell you that it is 3rd and 19 for Hartfield, because they just tried a long pass and Prep knocked it out. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, okay.
3rd and 19 is a long way, but we'll keep up with that.
Yeah.
So, George, other scores?
Yeah, and just to comment, we're here for the next 2 hours, and we're going to be talking about Mississippi high school football on MPB Think Radio. The number to call us is 1-877-MPB-RING or 1-877-672-7464. Chris Saxton's our studio engineer. Ty Bailey works our phones. The star of our show, Russ Robinson, will be along eventually, but he'll be with us as the night goes on. There are, and looking at the score sheet tonight, there's like 143 games this weekend, 136 tonight. So we'll get some of the scores, but we probably won't get all of them. Some scores from last night of interest. I'll just mention those. It was Macomb defeating Lanier. That was Lanier's first loss of the year. 21-16 was the final there. Simmons remains undefeated. They defeated McEvans last night, 36-0. And Strayhorn edged Coffeyville by the score of 17-16. Let's look at some scores tonight, and there are some really interesting games as we get through this. Booneville defeated Mantachie 23-13. It was Brookhaven shutting out Provine. That's Brookhaven's 6th win of the year. They won that game 48-0. Louisville won their 7th game of the year. They defeated Caledonia 48-7. Another high-scoring game for New Hope as they defeated Corinth 46-7. It was Wesson shutting out Franklin County 48-0. Scores in the 40 are very popular tonight. Ocean Springs over Harrison Central 48-3. Jefferson Davis County over Hazelhurst 40-12. Horn Lake shut out Hernando by the score of 35-0. It was Morton over Lake 34-14. Lake Cormorant doubled up Saltillo 28-14. Lawrence County defeated Purvis 32-21. South Haven over Lewisburg 38-14. It was Pascagoula beating Long Beach 50-21. Lord Star 38, Bogachita 14. McGee shut out Raleigh 14-0. Madison Central at home defeated Murrah tonight 27-6. Now the interesting thing about that is Murrah traditionally was a 7A school, but a couple of years ago, I think this is the 2nd year, they've competed as an independent school. That's their first loss. They were 7-0 going into that game. And actually, it was pretty close early on, but Madison Central ended up pulling away and winning that game 27-6. Doesn't count as a district game for Madison Central. South Jones over Natchez 29-14. It was New Albany 50, North Pontotoc 14. Northwest Rankin traveled to Meridian and got a good win, 24-7 over Meridian. Okolona beat Smithville 27-12. It was Grenada shutting out Olive Branch 42-0. Grenada is now 7-1. Now this is a game of interest. Petal came to Pearl, and Petal beat the Pearl Pirates 21-17. And maybe the higher scoring game other than, well, one of the higher scoring games of the year. Picayune goes to West Harrison and wins 69-50. That doesn't sound like a Picayune game. That sounds like a basketball game for sure. But 69-50 is the reported score there. Pontotoc beat Lafayette 35-21. Poplarville outscored Tylertown 43-37. Shannon over Tishomingo County 45-6. South Panola won for the sixth time of the year. They defeated Center Hill tonight 46-14. Won that game on the road. Now, this is another interesting game we were talking about just before we went on the air. Clinton was leading Starkville 22-0 at the half and ended up winning 31-22. So that's Clinton's fourth win of the year. And in that fourth win, they defeated Brandon earlier in the year, and they defeated Starkville. And this was a district game for Clinton. I'm just shocked at that. But anyway, Clinton is now 4-3. Starkville falls to 5-3. Baldwin shut out Thrasher 60-0. Baldwin now 7-1 on the year. Tupelo defeated Germantown. That game was played in Madison. Tupelo is now 8-0. They won 27-7. Germantown got off to a great start, and they've kind of struggled of late, but Tupelo's got a good team, 27-7 the final there. Van Cleve over Stone by the score of 37-13. Velma Jackson shut out Noxapater 46-0. Water Valley beat Palmer 27-12. Gaucher, a winner over Wayne County 31-8. Some MAIS scores. Park Lane won tonight over Brookhaven 49-14. It was North Delta over Carroll Academy 35-6. Centerville edged Cathedral 35-31. Simpson Academy got a big win. Simpson played Capaya at Simpson tonight, and Simpson won that game 27-14. That's Capaya's just third loss. Simpson is now 5-4 on the season. Again, probably the marquee game in MAIS tonight for sure, and one of the marquee games in the state. Game being played in Hartfield. At last report, still 45-45?
No, Prep scored. It's now 51-45 Prep, but missed the extra point. There is 36 seconds left.
Oh, my gosh.
And Hartfield has it on their 15.
They missed the extra point.
And now Hartfield's down to 30 seconds. So
okay, well, all right, well, kids.
So it is still an exciting game.
All right, Chris, stay with that. All right, Prep up now 51-45, and with 30 seconds or less to go in the game.
Makes your stomach hurt almost.
Yeah, well, really, that's amazing because Prep was down 2 touchdowns not that long ago. We were sitting there talking, and
wasn't our fellow from Hartfield talking about how few points
they'd allowed?
The defense had allowed this year. They just got blown away.
Yeah, Prep had not given up hardly anything, so that's a really interesting game for sure. I'm sure when Russ gets here, we'll hear about that as the night goes on. But anyway, here Leake Academy. This was a really good game. Leake Academy edged Lamar School 35-34. Both teams 5-3 going into that game, and Leake on the road wins by 1 point. PCS shut out Madison St. Joe 37-0. MRA and Jackson Academy were playing tonight. That game was played at the Brickyard in Jackson. And MRA won 24-14. Margin there is not kind of what I would have expected, but MRA won. They're now 8-1. They beat Hartfield last week in another really high-scoring game. So anyway, MRA won. Jackson Academy is still having a great season. They're 7-2. They've lost to Prep and to MRA, the only 2 losses they've had, 24-14 there. Starkville Academy edged Heritage Academy 30-27. That game was played at Heritage. Marshall Academy over Winona Christian 14-13. Let's see some 8-man scores. We've got a couple of 8-man scores. Christ Covenant School defeated Discovery Christian 58-14. And DeSoto School defeated Tunica Academy by the score of 44-14. That's a rundown of all I have at this point. But we'll be getting some more scores, obviously, as the night goes on. And we're going to be talking to a lot of people. We'll be talking to Ray Coleman, Mike Peterson, Joseph Joseph from Hartfield will be on. Let's
How
see.
about Reed Vance, who is
Reed Vance.
He's on the phone.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to Reed then.
Okay, here we go. Here's Reed.
Hey, good evening, guys. How are y'all?
Well, we're fine, Reed. Give us that final, because I'd never got the final on Warren Central and Vicksburg. How was the game?
Yeah, Warren Central won the football game 21-13. Probably a little closer than it should have been, to be honest. Vikings ran the ball very well in the first half, but really the story of the ball game twofold. The Vikings were penalized for 105 yards in the second half.
Whoa!
And that let Vicksburg stick around and really have a chance at the end. But the other story of the ball game is that the Vikings defense, which has played well all season long, they came in averaging 11 tackles for a loss per ball game this season. They had 11 tackles for a loss again tonight. Their relentless defense, they got a little too jumpy tonight. That's what led to a lot of those penalties that let Vicksburg stick around. But the Vikings get the win, so they're 4-3 on the season. And the Gators are still looking for their first win. They're 0-7.
So getting to the final there, was it 21-13? Is that what you said?
21-13 Warren Central.
Okay, all right. Well, Reed, you're right. I would have probably expected the margin there to be a little bit different, but you played that game at Vicksburg High, right?
That was at Vicksburg's Memorial Stadium, correct?
Okay, all right. Well, who do the Vikings? Who do they have next week?
The Vikings host the Rockets of Neshoba Central next week.
Okay, well, that should be a good ball game.
I think it will be a good ball game. But one other thing about my game tonight is that it's the 13th straight win for Warren Central in that series.
Yeah, and that's a series. I mean, they've been playing football for a long time. I'm not sure I'm not sure. Warren Central and Vicksburg are probably in different classifications for a long time, but grudge match for sure over in Vicksburg. But as long as the Vikings defense continues to be consistent, you would expect them to be in almost every game they play.
If they don't make the kind of mistakes they made tonight with all those penalties, they're going to get run out of town by a playoff team. To be honest with you.
Right.
But if they cannot do that, this defense can take them deep into the playoffs. They're that good. Best defensive front I've ever seen.
Wow. 100 yards in penalties in a high school game for a half, that's a lot. I mean, that is an awful lot.
Yeah, a lot of personal fouls, a lot of stuff after the play. They got to clean that up, and Vicksburg's got some talent, so they'll try to bounce back next week, too.
Right. All right, Reed, thanks a lot. We appreciate the report. We'll be talking to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Reed giving us that for score. We were expecting him to call a little bit later, but that's perfectly fine. We got a final there, Hartfield and Prep?
Nope, 4 seconds left. There's the throw. That's the ball game. Prep wins it 51-45.
Okay. You know what? Technology is great, isn't it? I mean, it
is unbelievable.
You can sit there and watch it on the internet. That's great, but nothing like being there. And I'm sure that Russ is going to talk about that one for a while. Go ahead. Did you have anybody else on the line?
Probably
don't have time.
No, we don't. It looked like there was somebody else. We'll talk about it real quick, though. For people, you've heard about this deal to vote for an all-star.
Right.
I'm going to pop this little sign up here in just a second that shows where you can vote. We wanted to talk about that. We'll talk about it again. But fans' choice. Remember, you're voting for a player on North and South, for a band, and a school. So anyway, get on there. It's gethattiesburgnews.com/fans poll. Sorry, I just couldn't read that. But anyway, you can close it out and we'll go to break.
All right. Well, we've got more Friday Night Under the Lights coming up in just a moment. Stay with us, and we'll be back.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for $15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians, and there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov. If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians.
And we're back, folks, here in part 2 of tonight, but we've got 2 people on the phone, and first we're going to talk to Ray Coleman. George?
Well, Ray, I was checking the scores, and I looked down, and it looked like the Arrows were up in the first half, and I thought for sure Starkville would come back and make and win that ball game. But boy, the Arrows apparently played a great game tonight.
They did, man. Indeed, they did. I think the extra week of preparation and rest helped them out a lot. They jumped out on the Yellow Jackets early, man. They played a phenomenal game in the first half. Dominated the line of scrimmage 100% on both sides of the ball. Starkville did make a late run. That quarterback, Ruffin, is a special kid, and he's only going to get better as the season progresses. But, yeah, man, give credit where credit is due tonight. The Clinton Arrows did what they needed to do. Jacoby Williams, 30 carries, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is a true workhorse, and they start the region off with a 1-0 win. So there you go.
Yeah, 31-22, the final. Clinton beating Starkville at Clinton. Really, last year, and of course, I know you live in the community. I live in the community. Clinton has had, good athletics, good football for years. Boy, that last year, that one win season, that was tough. And it's just amazing how they've really, Coach Carr has kind of, turned things around in such short order.
Yeah, man, he's all in when it comes to, doing whatever it takes week to week to win. I'll give you an example. Tonight, he went for it on 4th down on a trick play, lined up in the punt formation, but the punter also is our backup running back. Mm-hmm. So he saw an opportunity and took it. That 4th down conversion led to a touchdown, right? So you keep that drive alive, and then you put points on the board. Had an onside kick recovered that led to a touchdown. They forced turnovers defensively. So it was a true team win. All 3 phases of the game had to contribute to get this win against a really good team. Starkville only had 1 loss on the year prior to tonight, a 1-point loss to Louisville. So they're a quality team, and this proves that Clinton is a quality team as well.
Yeah. Well, you look at that schedule, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's a daunting schedule. But you feel like if you've beaten Brandon and you've beaten Starkville, you can probably line up and beat anybody on a given night. So, who do they have next?
That's the who's who, and the next opponent is the who's who. It's called Tupelo.
Tupelo. And that game's at Tupelo?
That's in Tupelo. So that
Yeah.
is the true who. Now, I'll tell you this. If Clinton can find a way to pull off the win on the road versus Tupelo, then, yeah, all bets are off, man.
Right.
At that point, Clinton is the favorite to go the distance at that point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's just a good story. I mean, nothing else. It's just a good story. The team, had such a difficult year last year, a lot of injuries, and they've rallied back under a new coach. Coach Boswell's still there at athletic director, but they've just had a much better year. And I know it's much easier for you to call games, is it not?
Yeah, man, it's fun to watch. Sometimes you got to get a little creative.
Right.
When teams lose every week. And it's no fault. They suffered a lot of injuries last year, man.
Yeah.
They're back healthy and having fun. I think sometimes we forget that the way that the young men can have fun can lead to wins. So they're attacking, they're playing no-huddle, aggressive style offense, and it's leading to W's. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ray. Thanks for calling in and giving us that report. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Man. See y'all soon.
All right. See you soon.
Mike Peterson's on the phone.
Hey, Mike. I have not gotten a Hattiesburg score, I don't think. Give us what the game, how it came out tonight.
Hattiesburg defeated Forest Hill by a final score of 56-6 tonight on homecoming.
Okay.
And something I have never seen in football before. I've seen teams score a couple touchdowns in maybe like 30, 45 seconds or a minute, but Hattiesburg scored 28 points in the first 2.5 minutes of the game tonight. They
now how'd that happen?
They took the opening kickoff, scored on the first play of the game, led 7-0. Then Coach Tony Vance rolled the dice, onside kicked it, recovered the onside kick. Next play, first play after the onside kick, 50-yard touchdown pass, and it's 14-0. Well, then Forest Hill goes 3 and out, and they snap the ball over the punter's head. Tigers recover it on the 1-yard line. One play, touchdown. It's 21-0. Forest Hill then gets the ball after the Tigers kick it off and fumbles on the first play from scrimmage. Tigers scoop and score 28-0 with 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the opening period. And then Hattiesburg cruised the rest of the night. They was up 50-0 time. So a good homecoming win for the Tigers, moved to 7-0 on the season.
You said that was 56-6. Was that the right score?
56-6.
56-6. Yeah, when you get down 28 after 3 minutes, that's demoralizing for sure. But I mean, Hattiesburg, they're 7-0 on the year, having a great year. Who do the Tigers have up next?
Play Pearl River Central next Friday night for senior night.
Okay. Pearl River Central, what kind of team do they have?
I think they're like 2-4 this year. Not sure how they did tonight, but
Okay.
But I know they beat Forest Hill last week for their first region win of the season. So
Okay.
I do know that they do have a couple of wins on the year.
Okay. Well, Mike, thanks for the report. We always look forward to hearing about the Tigers, and they're certainly having a good year, and we wish them well the rest of the way out, and we'll be talking to you next week.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
All right, you too. You too.
Why don't you? I think it's great you've got so many scores, so
Yeah, I'll give you
we've
some
got
more
time,
scores.
so throw some more in there.
Well, I was going to say a while ago I was looking down the list here, and it's Joseph Craven and Jared Schatz. I could not read Russ's handwriting. I've now had enough time to look at that and
And read
decipher
it.
what he's actually saying there. But anyway, we'll be hearing from them later as we hear from a lot of different folks. Give you some of the scores we've given earlier. It was Brookhaven shut out Provine 48-0. Louisville won for the 7th time of the year. They beat Caledonia 48-7. Thursday night score we did not give you earlier. Amory shut out Richland by the score of 35-0 was the final there. It was New Hope over Corinth 47-6. Wesson beat Franklin County 48-0. Jefferson Davis County defeated Hazelhurst by the score of 40-12. Horn Lake over Hernando 35-0. Morton won 34-14 over Lake. Lake Cormorant beat Saltillo 28-14. Lawrence County over Purvis 32-21. South Haven over Lewisburg 38-14. Pascagoula beat Long Beach 50-21. Lord Star over Bogachita 38-14. McGee beat Raleigh 14-0. Madison Central 27, Murrah 6. South Jones 29, Natchez 14. New Albany over North Pontotoc 50-14. It was Northwest Rankin defeating Meridian 24-7. Northwest Rankin kind of quietly is having a good season. They're 5-2. Okolona over Smithville 27-12. Grenada, who's not having a quiet season, they're now 7-1. They shut out Olive Branch 42-0 tonight. Petal defeated Pearl 21-17. The Pirates, great on defense, have had struggles offensively this year. Two teams that are not struggling offensively. Picayune defeated West Harrison 69-50. That is a lot of points, and especially for a Picayune team. But anyway, they won 69-50 at West Harrison. Pontotoc defeated Lafayette 35-21. Poplarville outscored Tylertown 49-37. Shannon over Tishomingo County 45-6. South Panola defeated Center Hill 46-14. Again, Clinton defeated Starkville in an upset of sort. Well, an upset for sure. 31-22. Clinton won tonight over Starkville. It was Tupelo defeating Germantown 27-7. Some have Tupelo now 8-0 as the top team in the state in 7A. Velma Jackson shut out Noxapater 46-0. Heard from Reed Vance a little earlier. Warren Central traveled to Vicksburg, which was a very short trip. They won 21-13. It was Water Valley over Palmer 27-12. Giving you some MAIS scores. Of course, maybe one of the games of the night. Jackson Prep rallies down late and wins at Hartfield 51-45. And I really want to hear from that, hear from Russ about that particular game, because, we're just sitting here talking. What was it, like 8-9 minutes to go in the game? Hartfield was up 2 touchdowns, I think. But anyway, Prep rallies and wins 51-45. It was Leak over Lamar School 35-34. MRA defeated Jackson Academy 24-14. PCS shut out Madison St. Joe 37-0. Starkville Academy over Heritage 30-27. Tri-County, did not give you this one earlier, but Tri-County defeated Central Hines 33-6. Tri-County is now 9-0 on the season. Marshall Academy edged Winona 14-13. And that's kind of a wrap of what we've got. Now we've got we're almost at the bottom of the hour. Russ, I would assume, would be here maybe in the next segment.
Yep, I think so.
Somewhere in the next segment.
He will come rushing in.
Well, it's not like he's in Alabama. No. He's just right up the road here. But I'm sure the traffic is rather bad. So anyway, remind you that support for Friday Night Under the Lights comes from Malone Roofing. Malone does roofing, metal walls, maintenance. They serve Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Florida's Panhandle. Commercial and residential roofing information can be found at ecmalone.com. We'll have more Friday Night Under the Lights coming up in just a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phone? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search, you'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones? What?
Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G?
Smile, you're on cricket.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools in South Mississippi like Gulfport, Moss Point, and Ocean Springs stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Well, George, we are back for a segment 3 at this moment because I think, did you have the Germantown score? Did you see that one yet?
Yes. That was the game that they played against Tupelo.
Oh, okay.
And it was 27-7, Tupelo won.
Well, hopefully Jared Schatz will call in here shortly and Joseph Craven. But in the meantime, let's talk about this as Russ wanted me to talk about the All-Star games. This year, the first All-Star football game is in Alabama. We'll be at South Alabama Statement, taking down some crew down there to broadcast that game. And then the next game is going to be Bernard Blackwell. But the exciting part about that is we've got some TV stations involved.
Okay.
And we've been told that it should be, give or take, about 2 million viewers able to see it on those stations that we have. And then we've got this fans' choice poll. And if people don't know about it, what it is for the first time, we're allowing the fans to choose a player that did not make it on the roster.
So they can be put on the roster.
So they can be put on the roster, one for North, one for South. That's part of it. Second part of it, they get to choose their favorite band and vote for them, and then that band will be asked if they want to perform down in Gulfport. And then a school will also be selected, a school's team's its favorite. So it is quite sort of a big fun deal to have the opportunity to fans get a choice, because people read those lists after we did the when we showed out that list and televised that press conference.
Right.
Somebody always goes, well, so and so should have made it.
Right.
Well, guess what?
There's
if
a way
they
to
vote
put 'em
for
on there.
so and so, they can. So anyway, that's a little up to date on the fans, and we do have a caller. Caleb Hamill is on the phone. Here you go.
All right. Caleb, thanks for joining us tonight. What game are you going to report on?
Our Jones game of the week this week is Northeast Jones traveling to Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, so Forest this year undefeated at 7-0 coming into the game tonight. Northeast, their only loss is West Jones. So a good meeting of district opponents here early on, both 1-0 in the region. But at the end of the day, Forest, a team that had only given up about 27 points coming into the ball game. Their defense stands pretty tall again. We were tied at 7 going into halftime. Northeast came out with a field goal towards the start of the fourth quarter, but could not hold on. Forest quickly responds with a touchdown to go up 14-10 on a fourth down play at the goal line, and then get another touchdown late after a couple of interceptions from Northeast Jones in desperation. And Forest hangs on to win. They improved to 8-0 as the final score was Forest 21, Northeast 10.
Well, again, sometimes we kind of fixate on certain schools and things, but Forest, who, through the years has had good football, and they're a 4A school, and they're now sitting at 8-0, and that's pretty impressive because Northeast Jones had only had one loss going into that game.
Yeah, and it's really interesting when you think about the fact Forest missed the playoffs last year after a pretty good start to the season. Just kind of tripped up in district play, so they're looking to make a big bounce back this year.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're well on their way. That game was at home. Do you happen to know who the Bearcats may play next week?
Ooh, do you remember who Forest has got next week? Talking to my color analyst over
That's
here.
okay.
I think they have Morton.
Yeah, okay.
We'll double check that.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's a grudge match for sure. How about Northeast Jones?
And so Northeast Jones will they just be equipment. Actually, Northeast has Morton next week, so we'll have to double check again on what Forest.
Okay.
So that's who Northeast had. My apologies.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for giving us that report. That's certainly a big game at Forest tonight, and Forest winning that game 21-10 over Northeast Jones. Thanks for the report, and we look forward to hearing from you hopefully next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. All right. Just remind you, Friday night under the lights, George Broadstreet here with you tonight. Chris Saxton, our engineer. Ty Bailey working the phones. Russ Robinson is missing in action, but I guess he's got a little bit of an excuse. He had a big game. It's only been over with for 45 minutes, but anyway, he'll be here eventually, I suppose. Who we got?
Jared Schatz.
Oh, okay. Jared Schatz. Jared,
gentlemen, how are you?
Well, we're fine. We're doing okay. Good night for football. Here comes Russ dragging up in. But anyway, you had Germantown and Tupelo tonight. Tupelo's got a good football team.
Yeah, they're number one for a reason. And looking at this game going in, guys, I thought if we could get some early momentum, which we did, we got a 3-and-out to start the ball game on Tupelo, and then we drove it down to the 3-yard line and got down to a 4th and goal. We decided to go for it instead of take the points early. And a bad snap did us in. We didn't punch it in, and the momentum kind of flipped. And Tupelo went up 20-0. But, the biggest thing with that Tupelo team, guys, is we knew we had to stop their talented running back. Jaden Hill, listen to this stat, big back. If you remember, his brother was Daniel Hill, who was over at Meridian, who's now the freshman running back at Bama. Well, I don't know how he got to Tupelo, but he's not fun to tackle. 226 pounds. This kid was averaging 11 yards a carry going into this ball game. So every time you handed it to him, it was a first down. And I thought if we controlled the time of possession and really limited him, which we did both things, I thought we had a chance to win. But we've been very banged up on offense, not a lot of continuity. We just didn't do enough offensively. And really a credit, even though we stopped the running back, Noah Gillen, their quarterback, did an outstanding job. He took a beating back there in the pocket. We were bringing everybody, trying to slow down the run, and obviously when they passed, we were coming after them as well. He took a beating tonight, delivered 3 touchdown passes for Tupelo, a lot of those off his back foot. But look, they were catching the one-on-one 50-50 balls, and Tupelo can beat you in so many ways, and I think that's what makes them so dangerous.
Well, you've had a couple of tough weeks back-to-back, right? You had Starkville the week before.
Yeah, Starkville put it on us pretty well last week, 42-0. They beat us last week, and we've only had 1 touchdown in district, guys. It has definitely been very tough for us, and it's not going to get any easier. We've got Madison Central next week, and then Clinton to finish the year. We've got 2 games left, and we're kind of sitting in the dweller of the district, so we've got to find a win somewhere.
All right. Thank you so much. So he must have he was in a fight. It was a good ball game, apparently. Hartfield.
I know. We Russ and I got together at halftime and shared an oxygen mask just to kind of make it through that game, man. That was something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, Chris and I were sitting here and kind of just watching the score kind of go back and forth and bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just amazed that the game ended up being that high scoring.
I'm with you on that because here's the thing about it. I don't think it would be fair to say that either defense played poorly. There was outstanding offense. It just was. Like, I know it's sometimes there's some people living in SEC country that think it's taboo to say that good offense beats good defense, but a lot of times it does, and that's what this was tonight. It was two outstanding heavyweight teams going at each other, and the scoreline reflects that. And it maybe seems like a disservice to assume it was not good defense in there. It was great. It was great, top to bottom. It was just good football. I hope that anyone who was looking for a game to watch tonight was able to tune in and catch that one, because it was just flat out what you tune into when you want to watch some good high school football.
Well, I'll tell you what I was impressed with. I was impressed with Kenzie West, obviously, and also Braylon Womack. But more than that, because you know what they're going to do. I mean, they're a couple of the best in the state, hands down. But I thought Tapper played one of his best games that I've seen, and he threw some dimes tonight. But I think what you and I talked about at the half was that with a lot of your guys going both ways, Joseph, I thought that showed up with about 5 minutes to go in the game.
No question. There was, the question going into the MRA game that Hartfield played last week was, okay, Hartfield's schedule has not been kind to their conditioning. It's been a lot of big blowout wins, so I think I mentioned on the air last week that going up into that game, the backups had played more snaps than the starters had to that point of the season. So the question last week was the condition. It was much better this week. For about 3.5 quarters, the Hartfield team looked to be the team that was in better shape. There were some Jackson Prep players struggling with cramping, some stuff like that. And then it shifted. And as soon as it shifted, you could see it happen on the field, and you could see Jackson Prep step up, take advantage, keep composure, and just kind of very calmly, methodically pull off the comeback victory.
I don't think it was a badly called game by either coach and their coaching staff. I think both of them had both of those teams in position to win. Somebody's going to win, somebody's got to lose the ball game like that. I really thought it was going to come down to an overtime, didn't you?
Yeah, sure did. What, of course, hampered the Hartfield efforts was starting running back Katie catching an unfortunate injury and having to step out of the ball game, which meant that the Hawks, who were down to a backup running back, had no options for trying to really effectively run the clock out. And, that came back to bite him quite a bit. To your point, great game from Cayman Tapper. He's got incredible touch on his passes, but when that's your only option and the defense knows it, that comes back to bite you right at the end of the game.
Thank you for all the hospitality, Joseph. It was a great game, and we're going to see each other again.
I think so. I'm glad you got the big game next week, so I can actually take a week off from these exhausting ones.
Hey, Joseph, always a pleasure. Thank you, bud.
Yep.
All right, so take a timeout, and we'll be back with more Friday Night Under the Lights in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, We tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phone? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
Here we're back with segment 3 of this evening. And we've got Philip Palmertree on the phone. Let me get, there he is.
There he is. Hey, Philip, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great.
You had a good one tonight.
Boy, we did. Big 5A Central Division contest. Leak Academy comes to Meridian and escapes with a 35-34 win against Lamar.
Oh, man. Woo! How'd you do that?
Well, let's see. It was Lamar led 21-20 at the half, and it's almost one of these things where you look at the scoreboard at the end and you think, okay, I'm not sure how we got here. But we got here. Leak turned the ball over 3 times in the third quarter, but only yielded 7 points in the process, and it was tied 28-28 going to the fourth. Leak scores with about 6.5 minutes to play. Lamar answers in about 90 seconds. They move down the field, score, but for the first time all night, they miss an extra point. And Leak, this team that's known for airing it out, throwing it all over the field. George Wilcox, 3 touchdown passes tonight for 2, but they got the ball back with 5 minutes, and they got nasty and just ran the ball up the field and ran out the clock.
Well, I tell you, that is now it's got playoff implications all over that game, doesn't it?
It does, especially with Simpson beating Capaya. That's going to set up next week at Madden. Simpson and Capaya basically for that 5A District 2 title.
Do you have that score from Simpson and Capaya?
Yes, 27-14.
Okay.
Simpson beat Capaya.
That's a big win for Simpson.
Sure is. So it'll be a lot of fun next week. It'll be the air attack of Air Wilcox for the Rebels, and then Simpson's going to come and run it at you, getting that I formation that none of these kids ever see anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And just pound on you. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, Philip. Thanks a lot, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, man.
We've got Tommy Upton on the phone.
Tommy, of course, handling the Picayune Maroon Tide. And Tommy, we've been trying to figure out just how good this Tide team is this year. What did they do tonight?
Well, we did our best Pac-12 impression with West Harrison tonight. Russ, 69-50 was the final. 69-50.
Tide on top.
So defense was just a rumor. Tide was on top, scored 41 points in the second half. It was just a track meet. Wing T offense versus, our form of, whatever you want to call the wing T, split T. We run different things together. So you would think with those two types of offenses, you wouldn't have a 69-50 game, but tackling wasn't that great from either team. It was fun to watch and it was fun to call, but it wasn't very fun for the defensive coaches.
I'll tell you, that's the kind of game you got to wonder if you got enough light bulbs on the scoreboard to get the score down there, right?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, my play-by-play guy, he was played at Picayune and went on to East Mississippi and Ole Miss, and he was an offensive lineman, and he had his shoes off in the fourth quarter trying to count up some of those yardage. So it got away from both of us there in the fourth quarter.
All right, so what does this do for Picayune as far as the conference is concerned?
2-0 in region play. We'll host Long Beach next week, and then after that, we will have George County, which should be a big matchup at home, and then we'll finish out at Hancock, and so that'll wrap up the season. Two things you probably don't hear a whole lot of from Picayune tonight, I'll tell you quickly. One is sophomore cornerback actually intercepted a backwards lateral pass, so jumped the route and tried to throw a swing pass. And Xavier Dennis intercepted it, and then 2 plays later, he is running back tailback three. They gave him the ball from 39 yards out, and he scored. So he intercepted and then scored. And then Picayune quarterback was 2 for 3 tonight with a 60-yard touchdown pass and a 41-yard touchdown pass. Those are a couple stats you don't see very often.
So the 2 passes he completed were for touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, one of 60 and one of 41.
Wow. No, they don't throw down there because Picayune is known for running backs. And this year, obviously, not much different in that. But, if you're going 2 for 3 for the night and you've thrown a pair of touchdowns with that length, you got a pretty good arm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Running backs have just been a staple this year. So Darrell Smith has been the star. He's RB1, right? And he is having a phenomenal year. Over 2,000 yards total after tonight. He's been averaging over 250 yards the last 3 or 4 games. But we had a couple of sophomores that we've been spelling him with, especially tonight. Had a lot of folks out, had to run a lot of kids both ways. Darrell Smith was one of them. So we put a sophomore in that hadn't touched the football all year long. He carries the ball twice, and he has over 100 yards in sophomore. 2 touches, 2 touchdowns. I told him in the post-game interview he'd probably just retire. It's all downhill from here.
Hey, Tommy, there's some seniors that would like those kind of numbers.
Absolutely. So it's just that kind of night down in West Harrison. We were glad to get out of there with a win, keep everybody healthy. Defense has a lot to work on next week.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Roll Tide.
There you go. All right, Chris, what do we got up?
Harold.
Oh, gosh, they got to be dancing in the streets in Petal, Mississippi tonight.
We're going to do a little bit of dancing. I don't know how much we're going to do, because I'm going to tell you something. Hey, Pearl has got a good defense.
Yep.
I don't know where they got that number 99 at, but the way they were telling it on the radio tonight, that guy is one tall kid.
That's the book on them, Harold, is that their defense is very, very solid, but they're struggling in the scoring department.
Yeah, they're struggling in that scoring department. Yeah, they are, Russ, but it was a well-fought battle for Petal, knowing we needed, and it's like Coach Bull said pregame, the pregame with Mark tonight. We needed this ball game. We needed it tonight. We needed it to happen, and it did happen after losing last week to a good, and I mean, dadgummit. What are you going to do about Brandon? They are loaded. They are something else, and they played Oak Grove tonight, and both of them. With 31-27 was Brandon's score there, so that had to be a good ball game after Oak Grove scoring 45 on Meridian. So, I'm telling you, guys, This 7A division, I'm still going to say could be up in the air, no matter what.
I totally agree,
mean,
Harold. I think you flip a coin on this year. Seriously. I mean, it could go anywhere.
Down on that coast, I don't know how Biloxi and St. Martin did. The last I heard, St. Martin was up like 15-8 in the second quarter. Never got a final on that one. So, but I've been following the coast. Gulfport apparently looked good against D'Iberville, and then Harrison Central. And look out, guys! Here come the Greyhounds. I don't know where they're coming from. They come back and beat Harrison Central tonight. Man, I tell you. It is just awesome about 7A.
Yep.
Even the rest of them, 6A. Look at Picayune.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
Look at Hattiesburg. Look at these teams are playing like, hey, we still got a chance. This is district play. When district starts, and I told y'all this, I think last week or so, when district starts, you throw out everything. You start out 0-0.
Yep.
You start out 0-0 right there. And this, these next three for Petal will tell it. And to my staff again, congratulations to all of them. Have a safe trip coming home. But, hey, that man out there, I don't know what to say about Marcus. I want that picture of my kid coming down here in 10 years, buddy.
I'm going to send it this week, Harold. We got to run. I appreciate the call, my friend, and we will talk to you next Friday.
We will talk to y'all next Friday night, man.
All righty, bud.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, man.
All right, man.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, a lot of scores to go over, a lot of big games as we head into that part of the season, and an interesting 8-man report tonight. I'm the one that did it.
Okay.
Down in Wilkinson County. I've lived in Mississippi 50 years, and I've never been to Woodville, Mississippi until today. I got there, don't know how I got there. I got back here, don't know how I got back here. But I was there. And their coach, Randy Holloway, is going to join us. And we'll talk about all of that. And got a lot of scores, a lot of folks calling in. So glad to have you tonight on Friday night under the lights. Stay with us. Hour number 2 coming up on the fastest 2 hours of sports radio in the state. Stay with us.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions for your business. Residential roofing, protecting your home with quality craftsmanship. Metal walls, custom designs for a modern look. Emergency services. Rapid response to protect your property.
After a recent hailstorm, I needed a total roof replacement. I chose Malone Roofing for the job, and my new roof looks great.
Contact us today for a free inspection. Visit www.ecmalone.com or call 1-833-7-MALONE.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer! 5G for 15! You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
Cricket gives me the coverage I need at a really fair price.
Stop! This came all the way from the top. New offer, 5G plan starting at $15 a month. Let's go! Smile, you're on Cricket.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Cricket Wireless and also the Malone Roofer and the State Treasurer, David McRae. Boy, we had fun out at Wilkinson County Christian today. And do you have that score?
I do not.
All right, we're going to get it at 11:30.
We're going to get it, but I don't have that one.
Coach Holler's going to call us in. Great day. A lot of fun down there. Got some pictures. Going to send them to Dr. Dave and put them up on the website, so it'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's go over the scores, and then we're going to go to Granny's waiting on the phone for us.
And Greg Flynn's on there.
And Greg Flynn.
All right, let me give you some that we've not given before. Gulfport defeated D'Iberville 38-19. We mentioned Hattiesburg over Forest Hill 56-6. It was Kosciuszko edging Greenwood 30-21. Mendenhall beat Quitman 24-7. Choctaw County shut out Mooreville 42-0. Brandon edged Oak Grove, and maybe a game that was maybe a little closer than some of us would have expected. 31-27 was the final there. Forest defeated Northeast Jones 21-10. Northwest Rankin defeated Meridian 24-7. New Albany over North Pontotoc 50-14. It was Picayune. We've mentioned this one before, but Picayune defeated West Harrison 69-50. Have to let that one sink in a little bit. South Panola 42, Center Hill 14. Clinton beat Starkville 31-22. It was Terry beating Pearl River Central 35-14. Terry's now 6-2 on the year. Tupelo defeated Germantown 27-7. Van Cleve over Stone 37-13. Velma Jackson shut out Nauxipater 46-0. Warren Central over Vicksburg 21-13. Water Valley over Palmer, MS Palmer 27-12. Gaucher beat Wayne County 31-8. Wilkinson County over West Lincoln 34-14. In MAIS action, Park Lane over Brookhaven Academy 49-14. It was Centerville edging Cathedral 35-31. Simpson beat Capaya 27-14. East Rankin won tonight, beating Oak Hill 49-23. Tri-County over Central Hines 33-6. Starkville edged Heritage 30-27. PCS defeated Madison St. Joe 37-0. A couple of the big games of the night: MRA over Jackson Academy 24-14, and it was Jackson Prep finding some way to rally in the fourth quarter and defeated Hartfield 51-45. And you lived through it.
So far.
So
the night's early.
Hadn't got home yet.
Well, speaking of somebody who probably hadn't gotten home yet, is Granny. And Brian, where did you want? What game were you at tonight?
I was at Forest tonight, Russ.
Tell me about the Bearcats.
Hey, the Bearcats are good. I mean, they got a good defense, and they went up against a good defense. So, defense, I don't like defense too much. I'm an offensive guy. But defense is what we had tonight.
But
we had that.
You got to have some of those sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. And, Forrest found a way to win the ball game. It was 10-7 at halftime. Northeast Jones was ahead. But Forrest got after it in the second half and got a couple of turnovers, and they won 21-10. But let me tell you, in this 5-team division that we have, I don't know who the best team is. Out of those 5 teams, I don't know. Quitman's 0-2, and Forrest is 2-0. That's the only thing I know right now. But either all 5 of these teams could win this division. That's how close it is.
We were talking about that a few moments ago. It's that way in 7A. It's that way in 6A. It's that way in 5A. You just got parity up and down. And you talk about a time in high school football when it's going to come down to the last week of the regular season. And then you may have to go to a point differential.
That's right. And that's probably what's going to happen here. I mean, I never thought Quitman would be 0-2 after 2 games. And Forrest, I knew they were good. And Northeast Jones is one of the most improved teams in the state. But tonight, both teams knew they were up against a brick wall. They knew that.
Well, the big crowd, Forrest?
Not at Forrest. They wasn't a real big crowd. Northeast Jones had a pretty good many, but there was plenty of room on the home side.
Well, I've been in that press box a lot, and those folks do support that team over there. And We're going to keep an eye on him. You missed a good one down on in Lakeland Triumph tonight.
Yeah, good win for Prep, that's for sure.
All right, Brian.
Did Randy buy you a steak tonight? He buy you one.
Randy?
Yeah, Randy Holloway.
No, but we're talking to him at 11:30 tonight. And I'd never been to Woodville until today in my life. And there's some great people down there. We had a lot of fun down there.
I bet you did. Randy's a good guy. I've met him. I know him. And, I'm sure you had fun down there.
I tell you what, they got after it. Well, look, you have a great weekend. Pull for the Longhorns, and it'll all be good.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are pretty awesome, boy.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Granny.
All righty. Bye-bye.
And we've got Greg Flynn.
All right, Greg, the book you told us 2 weeks ago, the book on this team is their defense is as solid as it can be. Talking about the Pearl Pirates, but they're struggling offensively. And is that what happened tonight?
Well, Russell, that's very similar. It was a lot better offensively tonight. The Pirates lost 21-17. And for the second week in a row, had a chance to win the game in the closing minute. But today it was 4th and 2 at the Pedal 19 with 1:40 left, and they got stopped on 4th and 2, tried to run the football. Last week it was trying to score against Northwest Rankin inside of their 15-yard line and fumbled the ball going in to win it. So the Pirates are getting much, much closer. I mean, the region games, these two region games, they could easily be 2-0, but they sit at 0-2. The defense is just phenomenal. The Pearl defense is really phenomenal, and will keep them in every single game. And they did again tonight. But I could tell you that I am so impressed with Petal and Coach Boyles over there. They are so balanced, running the football and passing the football. They have a really, really nice mix, and Pearl was able to hold them to ultimately 14 because I think it was 21 on a really short field that they had to score. They actually got it down at the Pearl 1-yard line. So defense did really well. Offense getting better. We used 4 quarterbacks tonight.
Four in one game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's something. We had the normal starter, Dylan Story was back, and then they went to the freshman 9th grade quarterback, Cruz Atwood, and he came in and played a few series. And then we tried that Wildcat again with Peyton Parker and Kinsey McNair, and then we went back to Dylan Story. So it's still such a work in progress. They're trying to find a way to make things work so that the offense can move the ball consistently down the field. They just haven't found that formula yet.
Well, tell me about number 99. Harold was saying he was a one-man wrecking crew.
Cam Hewitt is phenomenal. That's his name. Cam I Am is what I always used to call him. He is a teddy bear that stands about 6'4", 300 pounds, but has great quickness. I mean, he has cat-like reflexes like you, Russ, going to the buffet. He's very quick.
He is good then.
Very quick. He's very quick for a big fella, and you're going to get to see him. I believe he's on the Mizal roster.
Yep.
So you'll get a good chance to see Cameron, super kid, both on the field and off.
I think he was at the press conference the last Wednesday, and when we announced that team, and he's a load. I'm telling you.
He is.
Well, look, what's this very quickly, Greg? What does this do to you guys in conference?
Well, it's 0-2, and so now you're battling uphill, and a trip to Brandon awaits us next week.
Brandon? Oh, is that the
traditional Eat Dirt game?
Yeah, the Eat Dirt game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Eat Dirt. These days it's Eat Tire Pellets, but
it's all the same thing.
All the same thing.
Well, I think we got your
pellets go down a little bit.
I think we got your buddy Jake on the other line. Talk about the Brandon Bulldogs win tonight. So probably want to hang around and hear about that. Greg, thanks so much, friend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, gents. Have a great weekend.
All right, bud.
Mr. Jake Wimberly.
Ah, yes. The docile golden tones of Jake Wimberly. You had a game tonight.
Yeah, it was that, Battle of the Titans in South 7A, Russ. Oak Grove, Brandon, anytime those two tied on it, it's going to be, one of those, you got two guys stepping in the ring that, they're going to take some blows and give some blows, and that's kind of what it was tonight between the Warriors and the Dogs tonight.
A lot of people have been wondering, how good this Oak Grove team is. I mean, they've lost some games, very young, but it sounds like they played up to their potential tonight.
Oh, look, that's a really good football team. Drew Causey and his staff is one of the better staffs in the state, and they've got a quarterback that they really like, and a young man named Kellen Hall. He was really productive tonight, 14 of 22 for 161 yards, and it's interesting. You go back to Neville Barr, Russ, and now Drew Causey, and they have had just a quarterback factory that have run through there, and they said that he's going to be as good as any that has come through there, and after watching him tonight, I believe that. And, they've got three really good running backs, and they gave Brandon every punch that they could tonight and had a chance to win it there at the end and just could not pull it out. But for Brandon and you got to credit Sam Williams in the fight that his Dogs have tonight. And Tyson Robinson, again, I would put him up against any running back for sure in the state and maybe even in the country. 4 touchdowns tonight, 20 touches, 204 yards tonight, and really just kind of put the team on his back. And, right before the half, had a 65-yard touchdown run right up the gut. And, when you got a back of his nature, and what makes him so special is, well, for one, he's a phenomenal young man, just a high-level student, good kid in the community, good family. But he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and when he does, he is dangerous. So that's one of the reasons you see his offer sheet. It's north of 20 offers around the country now. It's his ability to catch the football, and he is a full all-purpose back. So, sophomore quarterback Sladen Shack played good enough tonight. He had a 30-yard scamper that led on to a touchdown. So I would expect, as always, we were joking with our broadcast partners over at Oak Grove tonight, Carr Shannon and his team. They do such a great job that, hey, this will probably be, we'll see him again here probably in about 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way it's been over the last 6 years, and that's not putting anybody else down in Region 3, 3-7A or 4-7A, but it's been Brandon and Oak Grove for the last few years, and expect it to be those two standing coming up Thanksgiving weekend.
What did my main man, Quincy Phillips, do tonight?
Quincy Phillips, what a player. I mean, Quincy is a guy that can, kind of a quiet night tonight. He had a couple big kickoff returns that gave the Bulldogs, some good field position. He had a couple catches for about 25 yards. He had a couple runs, totaling about 7 touches for about 40 yards. But Quincy is a heartbeat of this team. He's a senior leader. The kids look up to him, and boy, I tell you what, you can do so much with him in the kicking game. You can line him up in the backfield. You can put him in the slot. I mean, he is a do-it-all back, and I tell you what, he'll be a big reason that if Brandon goes on this run that we hope that they do, he'll be one of those reasons for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that are saying it is the Bulldogs' year to win it, and we'll see if that happens. The next, like you say, the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be really, really something. Congratulations on the win tonight, and we appreciate you making us a part of your Friday night. Jake Wimberly, play-by-play voice for the Brandon Bulldogs.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. We're going to step aside, take a timeout.
Well, and when we come back, we'll have Ansley Brent.
Oh, she's going to tell us what's going on the Gulf Coast. So you keep it right here. We got Crazy 8s coming up at 11:30 tonight. Randy Holloway, the head coach for Wilkinson County Christian Academy, where I was today. And we'll be talking with him. Keep it here. Tonight's show made possible by the State Treasurer of Mississippi, David McRae. We'll be back.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov. Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
Trusted by homeowners and businesses across the Southeast. Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions for your business. Residential roofing, protecting your home with quality craftsmanship. Metal walls, custom designs for a modern look. Emergency services, rapid response to protect your property.
After a recent hailstorm, I needed a total roof replacement. I chose Malone Roofing for the job. They delivered top-notch service, and my new roof looks great.
We started looking for roofers when we realized that we had leaks throughout our facilities in our district. What stood out to me about Malone Roofing was great customer service, a fine finished project, and great follow-up. I would definitely work with Malone Roofing again.
My project was a little more complicated than just needing a new roof. I decided that Malone would be who we needed to work with, that would do the best job for us. My experience working with Malone was wonderful.
Contact us today for a free inspection. Visit www.ecmalone.com or call 1-833-7-MALONE.
Hey guys, we are back, and on the phone is Ansley Brent to talk to you, Russ.
Hey, good evening, young lady. How are you?
Well,
we had her.
We have her.
We have her. How are you, Ansley?
I'm good. Always catching my breath. You know me.
Well, you got so much to cover down there, and we were just talking to some of the folks on the show, and everybody's talking about how good the Coast football is this year. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. I was at two matchups tonight. I was at Ocean Springs and Harrison Central. Now, both entered undefeated for their first regional game last week, but then Ocean Springs absolutely dominated 48-3. So they're looking good. I mean, obviously started off pretty weak, but their schedule is so tough towards the beginning. So now they're winning when it counts, and that's good to see. And Gulfport's also still undefeated in district. 2-0 in district. I know say undefeated, but it just started in regional play. They're 2-0. They defeated the Iberville 38-19. It's a better program than they normally are. So that's another good win for Gulfport.
You know, and I got to ask you first about Ocean Springs. I mean, you know, they've had the quarterback, you know, for a couple of years down there, and even the one that came in behind him was pretty good. But you're right, that non-conference schedule, and everybody's this year, and everybody's scratching their head going, what's going on with the Greyhounds? And I told people, don't give up on this team or this program because they're going to find a way to be there.
Yeah, they always excel in the postseason, to my opinion. But, I mean, they played a good Madison Central. They played Oak Grove. I mean, they played all the teams that you see. They're normally the last team standing. So they just started off with a really difficult time. But they're one of these district games, and that's all they can do right now.
Talk to me a little bit about West Harrison, if you know much about them.
So I actually haven't seen them yet, but they just a very, very high-scoring game against Picayune. You know, Picayune did come out winning, but West Harrison was still able to put 50 points on them. So it was an Xbox game, 69-2. But they're a very talented team. They're 0-2 in districts, but I haven't seen them personally, but I've seen their numbers, and it's always impressive.
You know, it's very possible that the team that comes out of the Coast for the playoffs may have 2 losses. Wouldn't you think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I just everybody's beating everybody down there. And is D'Iberville are the Warriors in kind of a rebuilding mode down there?
Well, the past 2 years they combined for 7 wins. So they're already doing better. This is their head coach's 3rd year, I believe, but they just got a new defensive coordinator that's done wonders for them this year. So they're improving, but they've been building it.
Talk to me about Pascagoula.
So you don't ask me about the teams I haven't seen yet. My sports director called dibs on them normally. But their quarterback, very, very talented. If there's any record in passing, he has it now. They just defeated Long Beach 50-21. So they're 1-1 in district now. I'm sorry. I can't remember who they lost to. They lost to Picayune last week.
Yeah, they lost Picayune last week. Sure did.
Yeah, they're 1-1 split in district, but they're going to be contenders definitely later on.
And I think Biloxi took one on the chin tonight, didn't they, George?
Oh, Biloxi?
Yeah.
No, Biloxi won.
Oh, they did win tonight?
Yeah, they beat St. Martin.
Okay, they beat St. Martin. Okay.
34-14.
Okay, well, tell you what, there's a lot of good football being played down there, and you have to chase it all down, don't you?
I sure do.
Are you one of those reporters that has to go out there with the camera on your shoulder and the mic in your hand to get the interviews?
You forgot the tripod and the live equipment.
Well, I tell you, it takes a lot to be a reporter, doesn't it?
It sure does. I appreciate y'all realizing that.
Yeah. Hey, look, we've been there. We know what you're going through.
And look, I'm in my golden years, and I'm still carrying equipment. So it doesn't ever stop. And so you do a great job down there, and we appreciate you, giving us the skinny on what's going on the coast. And of course, a lot of people from North Mississippi listen to this show, and they don't really hear much about what's going on down on the coast. So we appreciate the report, and I tell you, there's still a lot of good football left to play down there.
Absolutely. Week 8 is great, but more is coming.
There you go. Well, Ainsley, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Go Eagles.
There you go.
You want some scores?
Yes, let's do some scores.
Let me give you some scores. Greene County defeated Bay High 54-19. The game that we were mentioning a minute ago, Biloxi defeated St. Martin 34-14. It was Cleveland Central over Greenville 33-8. Neshoba Central edged Columbus 19-14. We didn't. Ty had called in tonight, but Seminary.
He's not. He's on the Gulf Coast.
Oh, okay. Well, Seminary defeated Crystal Springs 39-13. It was Gulfport winning. They beat D'Iberville 38-19. Laurel won tonight over East Central 40-14. Eupora over Sebastopol 22-14. It was Kosciuszko beating Greenwood 30-28. Walnut edged Hamilton 22-20. Let's see, McLaurin, actually Southeast Lauderdale beat McLaurin 38-20. Mendenhall beat Quitman 24-7. Choctaw County defeated Mooreville 42-0. It was Charleston defeating O'Bannon 42-8. Forest 21, Northeast Jones 10. And the game, we had a report from Jake Wimberly a few moments ago. Brandon beat Oak Grove 31-27.
And Mike Peterson said the Hattiesburg played just lights out tonight.
You didn't hear? Did you hear that? Did you hear our interview with him?
No.
Okay. They were playing
I was
Forest
still
Hill.
calling the game.
Well, I know they were playing Forest Hill.
Right.
And I can't go through it. I don't remember it. But Hattiesburg had a 28-0 lead 3 minutes into the game. It was just incredible in how they kept getting the ball back over and over and over again. Forest Hill had a couple of turnovers really deep in their own territory. But that's why I said, when you're down by 4 touchdowns 3 minutes into the game, that's pretty demoralizing. So, but anyway, they did end up winning 56-6. And the Tigers are having a great season.
Oh, yeah. In fact, there's a lot of people that are picking them to be there in the end.
Yeah. Speaking of being there at the end, we used to talk about South Panola all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Well, they used to win all the time.
Well, they used to never lose.
Right.
But,
84 straight.
Yeah, they had a couple of they had some years where they haven't been quite as good, but this year they're having a good year. They're 6-1. They've defeated Center Hill. Center Hill was 5-1, and South Panola went on the road and won 42-14. And they're pretty salty.
Man,
they really are. And I'll tell you another 6A team that's really good is Grenada.
Yes.
Grenada.
They beat Clinton.
They beat Clinton, but I tell you what, they beat Olive Branch tonight 42-0 at home. And we've talked about different games and everything, but I can't get over Clinton beating Starkville 31-22.
Well, especially when it was 22-0
at the half.
At the half. Now we're talking about a Starkville team
that's really good.
That's really good.
Really good.
And Chris Jones is just an awesome job up there as a head coach. You just have those nights.
Yeah.
Where was that game? Was it in Clinton?
Yeah, it was in Clinton.
You talk to a lot of coaches, and they'll tell you these long bus rides sometimes really do affect a football team.
Yeah, I know. They do.
Depending on what you're riding in.
But talent's talent,
That's true.
And talent, and Starkville's got a lot of talent. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just, a lot of conversation about, different things. But, apparently the Clinton kids are having fun. And, it's a lot more fun when you win.
Yep.
But, they're taking the right approach. And, I was a little surprised at Brandon Oak Grove being as close as it was. Now, Oak Grove has got a good team. MRA put it to them pretty good a few weeks ago.
Throttled them.
But they still have a good team. But they gave Brandon all they wanted tonight.
A good game.
Good game. And Brandon won 31-27.
And it's like Jake Wimberly said, you're probably looking at two teams going to see each other again.
Well, yeah. I mean, probably so.
Well, I want to remind everyone that you can, we got the All-Star games coming up, Miss Al, and also the Bernard Blackwell game. And on the Bernard Blackwell game, you can vote for a player that you think should have made the roster but didn't, for both the North and the South. Also, vote for the best band in the state. And I believe, the band and the players.
Team. School.
The best school, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so we talked to Dee Moye last week, who's setting all this up. You can go to the Funnel website, and the information is on there. Yeah. And this is interesting because, how many times have we heard, well, I think our All-Star team would have been a lot better if X had been in the ball game. Well, he didn't make the team. Well, this year he has a chance to make the team. You have a chance to vote him in there. And so that's going to be going on through Halloween night.
Oh.
Halloween night on a Friday this year?
I'm sorry, I just don't know like I used to. I don't care like I used
to. It's on a Thursday? Okay, thanks. All right, it's on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, that's close to Friday, so we'll know who those players are.
Yeah.
That we'll add to the roster. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing, the band will get asked to perform in Biloxi.
And get $1,000.
I mean, Gulfport.
In Gulfport, yes.
And get $1,000.
Yeah.
So
this is all about football, but the bands are a big part of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
On Friday night, and I tell you what, I mean, I go by the stadium all the time, and the kids at Clinton, I know this is like the bands are everywhere. They practice all the time.
All the time.
I mean, my gosh, they put in a whole lot more time than the football team probably does. My word.
Well, they got to remember where to go on that field. I wouldn't know how to do that.
True. Yeah, that's true.
They work hard. But look, it is about Crazy Eights time, and Randy Holloway is going to be calling here in just a moment. We're going to talk about Wilkerson County Christian Academy. Some great people. We'll find out what they did on the 8-man game tonight. We'll talk to them about 8-man football when Friday night Under the Lights continues in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. 1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search, you'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions for your business. Residential roofing, protecting your home with quality craftsmanship. Metal walls, custom designs for a modern look. Emergency services, rapid response to protect your property.
After a recent hailstorm, I needed a total roof replacement. I chose Malone Roofing for the job, and my new roof looks great.
Contact us today for a free inspection. Visit www.ecmalone.com or call 1-833-7-MALONE.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phone? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on Cricket.
And welcome back to the Crazy Eight section. But before we talk to the coach, John Marcus Duncan is on the phone. Gives us a little interesting talk about Jackson Prep tonight.
Well, and before he does that, congratulations to John Marcus. He won his 30th state championship in soccer. 30! I don't think
Hey, we're talking about football, not football tonight.
That's quite an accomplishment. I just had to throw it out there. All right, so.
I do appreciate it.
What a game.
96 points scored tonight. So if you're an offensive guy for football, you love tonight. If you're a defensive guy, you're pulling your hair out. It was back and forth. Somebody texted me during the game, whoever has the ball last going to win this one. But, it was, like I said, back and forth, some key turnovers for Jackson Prep, put them in a position to win the game. And they come away with a 51-45 win, big conference win on the road at Hartfield tonight to set up a huge matchup next week at home against MRA.
Talk to me about Major Quinn and his ability to play both sides of the ball.
He does a phenomenal job at both. He's not like he's better at one than the other. He kind of got, for lack of terms, got burned a little bit tonight on the deep balls, but did a great job adjusting in the second half. And, of course, he's a special teams guy also. He returns kickoff, returns punt, so, he's everywhere. But Major had a great ball game. I credit his coaching staff so much for making some huge adjustments at halftime. Came out in the second half and limited the big plays for Hartfield, especially in the fourth quarter tonight, and they go away with a win. And I thought Parker Puckett played a really good game, but our undersized defensive line, something we talk about every week, they played their you know what off tonight, and just really kept the game close.
Well, it was a big win. It does set up a big game next week at Prep with MRA, and you just got to know that all these teams are going to see each other again.
No question. I think like next week. I think next week is a 1-2 finish right there. Whoever wins most likely will be the 1 seed. Whoever loses probably the 2 seed. If you're going to be that 2 seed, you're going to probably see Hartfield again. And look, they're so dangerous on the offensive side. They've got some weapons. They're so big up front, and but they're big plays. It's all about big plays for Hartfield. And I thought Prep did a good job in the second half limiting those.
There's 1,000 pounds of beef up there on the offensive line for Hartfield, and what a game! I know that they'll be remembering that game for a long time. Well, hey, listen, we appreciate you staying up with us and giving us the skinny on that ball game, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week after that big one.
All right, thanks so much, Russ. Y'all have a good night.
All right, John Marcus Duncan. Okay,
Coach Randy Holloway on the phone for you, Russ.
Time for the Crazy Eights, and I was down at Wilkinson County Christian Academy today and met with Coach Holloway. Coach, good evening. How are you?
Good. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
We're doing well. We don't have a final score on your game.
No, we lost in overtime, 42-36.
Ooh.
Yeah,
you said it was going to be close.
It was a track meet, that's for sure.
All right. Before we talk about the game necessarily tonight, talk to me about, you wear a lot of hats, and obviously you're head of school and you're also head football coach. I don't want to say this. How are you able to split your time on those two jobs?
Well, Russ, I have some good help. I got some people that work for me, under me, and they do a tremendous job, and they also wear a lot of hats as well. So.
Well, I just enjoyed being out. The people were so friendly today. I was just really impressed with the pep rally, and you had all the kids excited. And then, of course, David McRae, the state treasurer, presented a couple of checks. And wow, what an afternoon!
Yes, indeed. We were looking forward to that all week. Our campus was really excited to have y'all on campus today. So.
Well, I didn't know if I was going to get there in time. I just told George I went there today and not quite sure how I got there. And I got back to Jackson and not quite sure how I got back. I went 2 different ways. I'll tell you, when I left, I went through Roxy, of all places, and how I got there, I do not know. We were talking about the 8-man game, and George, they've got a D1 player on this team. Talk to me about, was he 75, number 75?
Yeah, Bo DeVille. He's 6'6", 315 pounds, and he manhandles the offensive line for us and does a great job. Bo's a good person, and any and everything that comes to Bo is just going to a good person. He's earned every bit of it.
But now your quarterback is what makes this team go. Is that correct?
That's right. Our quarterback, Jacob Sessions, he's a dual threat quarterback, run pass option. He does really well. He's like having another coach on the field. He's that smart, high IQ.
And is it fair to say that these kids play for the love of the game?
Oh, absolutely. They definitely play for the love of the game. They sacrifice most of their summer to come out in that hot weather and go through the weight program, and they definitely love the game.
Well, I enjoyed walking around the school and looking at everything, but I had something catch my eye that I needed to ask you about. Okay. There were these seats out in front of the, I guess, administration office, and it had, class of 82 or class of 81, whatever it was. But one of the seats had class of 1931. I didn't quite understand that.
Those were some donated stuff that we got in the past. One of the local churches.
Really?
Yes.
Because y'all weren't there in 1931.
No.
I'm just sitting there going.
That seat was made somewhere in 1931. It made its way onto the.
That's right.
Campus.
It made its way to your campus. I enjoyed talking to your chemistry computer teacher. Is his name Mark?
Mark Branch.
Yes. Very, very nice. And you know what? Your campus is it's very contained, and it's very well laid out. You got the football, and then of course you got the tennis and the baseball and the girls softball, all in a complex, and it just looked like to me that everyone enjoyed being there.
Oh yeah, I mean our community's great. I mean they get behind our school and support all our athletics.
All right, so let's talk playoffs now. I'm going to get the warm fuzzies out of the way here. I mean, it was a tough loss tonight, but let's talk playoffs. What did this do tonight?
Well, we're going to be a solid 3 seed going into the playoffs. Porter Chapel's a 2A school. They're a bigger school than us. And, it didn't hurt our playoff seeding at all. I mean, it would have been nice to have won the game and be 8-3 or 8-2, and instead you're 7-3. So.
Is it fair for a 2A school to be able to play that? Are they the only 2A school playing 8-man?
No, there's a whole classification of 2As. We're 1A, and you have a whole classification of 2As.
I mean, do they come down and play 1A schools? Is my question, I guess.
They do. Yeah.
So is it tough getting games?
It is. It's tough getting games. I mean, and the travel's what's so hard about it, Russ. I mean, we had to go almost 4 hours last week to play the game.
Oh,
where was that?
Yeah, where was that game?
Riverdale Academy in Coshada, Louisiana.
I've been there. That's a haul from where you are.
Yes, it is.
And I don't even know where you are. I mean,
right. There's no easy way to get to Coshada, Louisiana.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a great day out there, and
it sure was.
We
had a lot of fun.
We appreciate so much you opening your facilities and your doors to Friday Night Under the Lights, and I told you when we were talking today about 5 years ago, I said these kids are playing as hard as anyone, but nobody's talking about them. And so that's why we came up with this segment, and boom, man, we got a lot of 8-man school people listening to this show.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well, Coach, we're going to follow you the rest of the way through the playoffs, see if you get there and win it all, and who knows, maybe you'll be in Jackson for that last game.
I hope so. That's our plan. That's our goal.
Well, do you have any players with you tonight?
No.
Okay.
They all went home.
Well, I imagine they're not real happy. I understand that.
No.
Well, a great day today. Congratulations on the job that you do, and I look forward to seeing you again at some point.
Okay. Thank you so much, Russ.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
It takes a special person to do what he does. I mean, you got to be head of school, and you also got to be head of a football team.
Yeah. That's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy being head of a football team.
And so anyway, when we come back from this break for our final segment, we've got John Weaver and Brandon Shields.
Good. We're going to give Brandon Shields the time he deserves this week. But we got to get to John Weaver first because he called in first. We're going to talk to him. We're going to take a timeout and remind you that tonight's show has been made possible by the folks at Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket. We'll be back.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones?
What? Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G?
Smile, you're on Cricket.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools in South Mississippi like Gulfport, Moss Point, and Ocean Springs stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who found their names and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer! 5G for 15! You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
George and Russ, we are back with our final segment. It's hard to believe that it's gone that fast. So anyway, we got two callers on the phone. The first is John Weaver.
Hey, John, I looked down at my phone tonight, and the score I got was 14-7. That MRA was on top of JA, and I think you won it, 24-14?
Yeah, the 50th meeting, the golden anniversary, if you will, of JA versus MRA. 15 Patriots come out on top tonight. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what is the difference from the way that they played last week, I'm talking about MRA, and the way they played tonight?
Man, look, hats off to JA and their defense. They had a great defensive plan. Came out and got after us. But here's what other thing they did. They slowed the game down, so they ran the football. They bled the play clock all the way down to like 8, 7, 6, 5, snap the football. So when we don't have the ball, we can't score.
Correct.
So they did a good job of that. It's 7-0. We missed some big plays early. We had some shots down the field. We just missed them, and that's a credit to JA's defense. But, man, anytime you get into October and these Titans starting to clash with Prep, JA, Hartfield, MRA, you're going to have these kind of games. So that's what it was tonight.
Yeah, but, John, the truth of the matter is you can't be up and have that type of game that you had last week every week.
No, absolutely not. That's a great point. They're high school football players, and coaches can talk about. I mean, I hate saying it like this, but a trap game where you're looking ahead to a Jackson Prep. You just beat a Hartfield who beat you 2 times in a row, and then you got a game, JA, where you've won 12 of the last 13 meetings. Look, you can tell kids all day long, like, hey, it's how we prepare mentally. But they're 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and they got to play the game. So as coaches, we know how important it is to prepare mentally, but getting that to a 17, 18-year-old kid, right? They're high school football players. So being up for every game, every Friday night is tough. That is tough.
Well, take solace in the fact that all you got to do this week to start practice is just roll the ball out on the field.
Yeah. There's a big one happening on Flowwood Drive Friday at 7:00. That's going to be a huge game. Two programs that are storied here over the last probably 10 years that have done some things. And look, that was a big win tonight for Prep. Coming back down, I think y'all were down 14 at half, and coming back and sealing that. Major Quinn. That's the only way I could say it is that dude's a dog. He's a dog.
I'll tell you what, it's a shame he doesn't play every play of the game. Good gracious! Did you see the last touchdown?
I did. He's a dog. That's all I'm gonna say. He's a dog. Look, Russ, there's a lot of people you go through, and I mean, I've been in this league for 20 years, and you see guys that have come around, and he's one of those kids that you're like, I don't think he can quit. Like, he'll never quit.
No.
You could do whatever he'd never quit. And then the other flip side of that is, you got Billy Puckett. And look, those two guys, and I say that, those two guys are really close to me from coaching in the Futures game, and got great parents and just two great, solid young men. They're going to be amazing humans as they get older and or the next generation of adults. But, man, it's just going to be fun Friday night. It's one of those things that, as coaches, there's a respect there for each program.
Yep.
The kids know each other. It's going to be a great atmosphere and a great Friday night, which I'm glad it happens Friday night. I'm in no hurry to get ready to tee that one up after this one.
All right, John, good enough, brother. We'll see you next Friday, and we'll talk to you on Friday Night on the Lights next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, Russ.
Thanks, John. All righty.
Brandon Shields.
And Brandon, I tried to guess which game you were going to today, as you know, and I finally hit on the one, which was the Clinton game. And I got to ask you, Brandon, because I looked down and it was 22-0 at one point.
Yes.
What's your take on this game?
Clinton game plan, play keep away at time of possession, and that was a big stat in the game. Clinton had the ball 31 minutes and change throughout the game, and Starkville had the ball for 15 minutes and some odd seconds. So, it was a keep away game, a possession by possession type game, and Clinton hit him in the mouth early in the game. And, they hit him in the mouth, jumped on him 22-0. And Starkville they couldn't get out of their own way. Penalties, stayed behind the chains. They did not defend the run very well at all. Clinton had I had Clinton 271 yards rushing. Jacoby Williams had 30 rushes, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. Eric Beasley, the other running back, had 23 carries for 99 yards. So, two backs to go basically over 100 yards plus. And they controlled the game, and hats off to them.
That really messes up that region, though, doesn't it?
Well, that was Region 2 7A is a beast. That was Clinton. Clinton's 1-0 in the region now. That was their first region game because they had the bye last week. Starkville's 1-1, and Germantown's in the hole 0-2 because losing to Starkville last week, Tupelo tonight. So they're they're in the back seat right now, and it's going to be hard for them to in this region. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
To kind of get themselves out of it, especially you got Madison next week, so that's the rivalry game, and then they have the last week bye, so then they play Clinton after that. So it's going to be very interesting. Clinton plays Tupelo next week, so that's obviously two teams that are undefeated in the region right now, and Starkville has their bye week next week, so they got to fix some things on the defensive side of the ball for sure.
Give me your take on Tupelo. I know they're the #1 team in the state, but give me your take on them.
I mean, they're just the way this year's gone, Russ. I mean, they were kind of just next in line. I hate to sound like that, but they're a good team. They got a really good offensive team. Noah Gillian, the quarterback that everyone knows moved in from Boonville, has really helped them out in the passing game. Jaden Hill, running back, he is a load.
That's Daniel Hill's brother, right?
No, it's his cousin.
His cousin, okay.
They're his cousin. So it's not as his little brother plays for Meridian, plays linebacker. He's a junior. He's actually a good one. So he's not getting the height, or he's getting all the offers and stuff like Daniel did, but he's a good high school football player. He plays linebacker, so probably why. But Jaden Hill, he is fun to watch. He is hard to tackle, and he's fast. And so he's like 6'2", 235 pounds. He's junior, of course. He's a load to bring down.
Do you think that some of these championships may come down to point differentials because you've got some ties?
That happens every year.
Yeah.
That happens every year. You're going to have tiebreakers. Had a team last year missed the playoffs.
Yep, I remember.
So I mean, yeah, it happens every year. I mean, it sucks being the person to tell the coach, hey, you
didn't make it
out of the playoffs.
That's right.
So, I mean, yeah, it's Halloween night. I mean, 2 weeks from yesterday, we're going to be putting brackets together already. It's gonna be fun.
Well, there's our music, my man. Thank you for that walk around the state. And we'll talk to you next week, my friend. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Yeah, thank y'all.
All righty.
Next week too.
You what?
I'll see y'all at prep next week too.
All right, sounds good. That is going to be a wrap for us tonight. Good show.
Yeah, hard night. I mean, you had to put in a little overtime and then rush over here, but great game prep and Hartfield and, other games we've mentioned through the night. A lot of good games.
All right. We'll be back here again next Friday night, and this thing's getting tight now. Big thanks to the sponsors that made tonight's show possible. Malone Roofing and State Treasurer of Mississippi, David McRae, and also Cricket Wireless. Be sure to thank him for that. Good night, everyone.